wrestling fans to TAW Total Access Wrestling. I'm your host, Bob McCarthy. A pleasure to have today the former three-time WWE World Champion, former eight-time Tag Team Champion, nine-time Tag Team Champion, best-selling author, King of the Death Match, former commissioner. He has done it all. Ladies and gentlemen, no introduction is needed for Mick Foley. Mick, thank you much for joining us here in Everett, Massachusetts. Hey. Pleasure to have you to come down here. You have an astounding career. Tell the people what you're doing right now.
I got my hands in my pockets, and I am listening to you, mouth off a little bit. Tell me about my accolades, and I got to tell you the truth, you did a pretty good job. A nice little rundown. I don't have a whole lot to add to it, except for the fact that we're here to raise money for a good cause, right? We got the DARE and the Everett High School Scholarship Fund. So I got a call. It's been a long time since I've been in the ring, and I decided, hey, why not come down and drive 6 hours on a miserable rainy day and then 6 hours a miserable rainy night back. So I'm hoping that after it's all said and done, and I've got the quilted flannel on, so it may generate a little more heat than I'm used to. I'm hoping that I'm not a sweaty slob when I walk out of the Everett High School gym.
All right. Well, you know, one of the things that we talked about, Massachusetts, you like this a lot, New England, and it says in your books, have a nice day and Foley is good. You like Santa's Village when you come down here with your kids. And let's talk about Worcester Centrum, where you became the WWE World Champion.
Santa's Village thing, it's just a rumor, so there's no need for any of you to go to Santa's Village just to see me. Like people camp out there like they think you're going to see me on my yearly trip. And yeah, it is. That is one of my favorite places. The Worcester Centrum holds a special place in my heart for a couple of reasons. One, it was where I won the WWF Championship, now the WWE Championship in The Rock the first time. It was also where the Rock and Sock connection formed. And I think there's another special reason. I can't quite think of it. But Andy from the Kowloon, the world-famous Kowloon, he procured for me 2 seats. 2 ringside seats from the Worcester Centrum, and as foolish as a gesture as I thought it was at the time, I ended up writing my newest book on those seats, and that book will be out July 8th.
All right, can you tell us a little about your book?
Oh, sure, yeah, it's a sensitive coming-of-age story that also involves deviant sex and graphic violence for the guys out there. So we got the sensitive stuff for the girls, the weird stuff for the guys. I think it's got bestseller written all over it.
All right, can I do my Mick Foley impersonation, my mankind?
I'd rather you.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Let me hear it.
Jimmy, I don't know how many times, how many chair shots I have to take, how many bones I gotta break.
Gotta get out of here.
All right.
Keep going, though. Very good.
I don't know, Jimmy.
That's very good. Did I really
Not too bad. I almost scared you away. You probably have that done 100 times, right?
A little scary. You know, my wife did that to me one time. And, that's how we conceived one of our children, and it turned out to be a weird one. So I got to tell you, doesn't bring back good memories.
Let's talk about Extreme Championship Wrestling, because
I should have left when I had the chance. Right?
You should have left when you had the chance, because I'm going to keep rambling these questions. If anybody asks me about this business, they'll ask me about certain matches or interviews. If somebody asks me about interviews, there's nothing that could top what I've seen with Extreme Championship Wrestling when you turned on Tommy Dreamer. I have those tapes, and I watch them over and over, and there's no other performer I've seen in my 20 years of watching wrestling that could catapult the intensity, the feelings, the energy, and probably the greatest promos ever produced. And you wrote about it in your book, and when you wrote it word for word, I remember those words, because it was in '95, you just turned on Tommy Dreamer for Raven, and I'm also a performer myself. Where came you took it from the inner self, right?
No, really, I did it like the United States President does. I had people write it for me, and I had teleprompters in front of me when I... No, it really was from the heart. I was kind of upset with the fans for real, for something they did. And a lot of times in wrestling, if you take a real feeling and kind of exaggerate it, not only does it come across well on television, but it's also a nice form of therapy. So once I got all that stuff out of my system, I was really a peaceful guy. The problem now is I don't have anything bothering me, so I couldn't give one of those good promos if my life depended on it. Brother! I see it's not there anymore. I can't do it.
Legendary feuds: Tommy Dreamer and ECW, Vader and WCW. I read all your books, so this is going to be a while. No, I'm only kidding. Vader and WCW, Undertaker and the WWE. Is there one feud that stands out? You got Terry Funk in Japan. In all these major promotions, you've carved your name and had legendary feuds with different people. And it makes it such a long career. Is there any one specific match you think about? You said Shawn Michaels at Mind Games was one of your favorites.
That was one of my favorites, but that stuff that's all been said before, I want to give you guys a scoop.
Yes.
One of my favorite unheralded matchups, not necessarily a match, but the whole rivalry was the Al Snow, after I found out that it was Al who had thrown my book out in the garbage and not The Rock. It was pretty heartbreaking stuff, and I thought that, it did a a lot of good for Al, and it was a lot of fun, especially when I was able to say things like Al said, you know, why do you want to team up with The Rock? And I looked him right in the face and I said, you know, it's nothing personal, Al. You're still my best friend. I just find I get a much better audience reaction when I team up with The Rock.
Well, you know what? I did the first ever Tough Enough, and I got some pretty lean comments from Al Snow. So to make me feel better, can you tell me some good Al Snow jokes?
Sure.
I'll stick with some on the way home from New York.
Let me see. How many Al Snow fans did it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know. How many?
That's a trick question. There are no such thing as...
And what was the one about the Constitution? Up in Philadelphia, where they got way in the back.
Oh yeah.
Al Snow.
That is, you know, I went to the one of the museums in Philadelphia. I don't remember which one. There's one where they had the Constitution. They had the original Declaration of Independence, and then I had to fork over a couple bills to a special security guy under lock and key, a very rare tape of Al Snow's last good match. It's in black and white. It was so damn old. Listen, I'd like to reminisce about things we haven't done yet, but...
I know. Before you go, I want to thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Can you give us a bang bang?
No, you do much better than me.
Bang bang!
There you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only legend, Mick Foley.